Italian Wine Podcast. Chin Chin with Italian wine people.
Hello, this is the Italian Wine Podcast. My name is Monty Waldin. My guest today is Tim Banks. Tim is Sales and Marketing Director for Ornellaia. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Tim, let's start with you, and then we'll go on to Ornellaia. Briefly, your career history.
Briefly.
In a nutshell, before you got to Ornellaia.
Well, before I came to Ornellaia, I was basically living in France.
Are you French?
No, I'm English, very much English, although I have a French wife.
Okay.
But after university or during university, found myself falling in love with France. Everything French, food and wine, of course, women as well.
Never get edited.
And slowly but surely sort of went from cycling holidays to working for Hennessy Cognac during the summers, which was nice.
As a salesman or as a...
No, just as a tour guide in their cellars. So I got to learn about great French produce, luxury business.
Is your wife from Gascony then?
No, she's from Toulouse.
Okay.
So not far away, but not from Cognac. But we lived in Cognac for a long time, where I worked for several companies, Hennessy, Remy Martin, Croisset, and then got picked up to come over to Tuscany. And
you say picked up? What, was a helicopter, did they? Ancillary sent a helicopter over and just...
Well, they sent me an email saying, do you know anybody that would like to do this job? And I said, do they need to speak Italian? They said no. I said, well, I don't have any friends then, and here's my CV. So a couple of months later, there I was in Tuscany.
So you've effectively, by hook or by crook, you've worked for what we would call luxury brands.
Yeah, not by design. Just I needed to work in the summers for my internship at university. I looked at that job, thought that would be nice, applied for it, didn't get it, applied for it the next year, got it, did it for 3 years. And then a small stint in London, working for a public relations agency, working on Champagne and Harvey Nichols and other brands. Again,
luxury.
Just luxury, but by chance.
What were you studying at university in France? Sorry, French?
European business with French, German and marketing.
Right, okay. So you've got the toolbox and languages, numbers.
Yeah.
And the spiel.
Business and the spiel, yeah. And so over the time I've sort of worked on it a bit, and now I've had to do it all in Italian as well. So
right, well, let's give me some spiel on. I said spiel there because you studied German, and I'm going to give me some spiel on Ornellaia. What is Ornellaia? Who owns it? Where is it? What is it? What is it? A red wine, white wine, sparkling wine?
Okay, so Ornellaia is a red wine, mainly, from Tuscany, and the difference being that it's on the coast in Tuscany. So it's just south of Pisa. It's a wine which many people would know as a super Tuscan, because it was one of these wines that arrived in the late 70s, early 80s, and went against the sort of the rule book, let's say, and started having international varietals such as Cabernet Sauvignon and Merlot, and other ways of looking at the wines, which didn't fit into the DOC rules, the very sort of strict quality rules for the wines from Italy and Tuscany. In French, there were the appellations. In Italy, the denominazioni.
So it's a bit like a Bordeaux, top quality Bordeaux Chateau adding Syrah to its red, for example.
Well, yes. I mean,
except it was permitted by the regulations, but instead of being labelled as a site-specific wine, it had to be labelled just as a Tuscan red.
That's right, Vino di Tavola, table wine even.
So what was the first official vintage for Ornellaia?
It was 1985.
And so who owns it?
It is owned by the Frescobaldi family, and along with their other estates in Tuscany and one in Friuli.
Were they the original owners of the brand?
No, it was Ludovico Antinori who created the estate. In 1981 he started planting, 85 the first vintage, and then towards the end of the 90s there was an exchange or a transfer of ownership from Ludovico through the Mondavi family to the Frescobaldi family, and now it's all owned by the Frescobaldi family. I would say we act as a winery in its own right. Everything is done at the estate. All the vineyards are around the estate. The bottling, all the offices are there. It's very much an all-in-one winery based on the coast in Tuscany.
So Frescobaldi, for those of you that don't know, is a very famous name in Italian wine, and the first Frescobaldi wine dealer was about 1300 and something, is that correct?
Yeah, I think we're coming over to 30 generations.
Okay. So who's the boss now? What's his name?
The CEO is Giovanni Guedes de Filicaia, but our president is Ferdinando Frescobaldi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it the same branch as Lamberto Frescobaldi or a different branch of the family?
Exactly. Lamberto is the president of the group. This is the same family. Lamberto, I believe, I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe is the 29th generation. I hope I've got that right.
I've got his mobile number, so
Okay.
we can check that. So what are the pressures? Obviously, you're used to working with luxury, top quality, 5-star, whatever you want to call it, brands.
Mm-hmm.
When you're out selling it or presenting it or promoting it, what are the do's and what are the don'ts?
Well, I think that the most important thing for us starts always in the vineyard with the territory around Bulgari, and all the wine makers work and the vineyard work, and everything has to be perfect. Then when we go out selling the wine, marketing, communicating, I think what we have to do is try to live up to the quality of the wine and not let it down, and make sure that we're being coherent, we're speaking in the right way to the right people, that also we are defending, I would say, the image of our brand. And it is, once you've worked hard to make such a great product, you don't want people to be misusing it or mistreating it or taking it for granted. So there's a bit of firm but fair in the market. And also you have to, if you say you're going to do something, you do it, you back it up.
So we give an example, though.
So, for example, if we manage, we were in the luxurious position of being able to allocate our wines even before they're even produced almost. We know more or less where everything is going to be sold and distributed around the world. And it is quite a lot of power you can wield by making sure that your importers are actually doing the job that they've also agreed to do. But I think it's important when something's not done correctly and not to the level that it should be, that we sort of bring that up and we talk about it. And we base our relations on long-term partnerships.
So give me an example of something without real specifics. I mean, I would have thought, if I was in a wine shop or a wine bar in London, for example, I think I've worked in a shop where we did sell Ornellaia. What would arouse your eye, or what would cause you to knock on the door of the shop and say, hey, Monty, can I just make a suggestion? Please don't do that with the Ornellaia.
I think when your customers have paid, let's say it's £150 for a bottle of wine, you've been working with your customers, your clients, and sometimes there's a tendency that people want to make a quick buck. And so they'll buy in a bigger quantity, knock the price down, and give away what they see as a great value, a deal, let's say.
To try and sell something else, if you buy 100 bottles of Chateau Blanc, we'll give you a bottle of Ornellaia at half price or something. I know it's a pretty simple example, but that kind of thing.
That kind of thing, and something which destroys the value of the brand and the value of the product, which someone else has paid full price for. So it'd be unfair for us to leave one person to discount and another person to follow and sell it at what we believe is the correct value. So it's about protecting that, for example. We also don't want to be flooding the market, so it's important for us to know that what we've sold into the market is also being bought and sold and drunk, and we want people to drink our wines.
So you have to have a very close relationship with your distributors.
Very close indeed. And for example, if you take our Swiss importer, he had agreed to take the first vintage even before it was produced, and we're still working together. We don't have a contract. We have a gentleman's agreement, and it's been like that for, this is next year will be 30 vintages. And we have examples of that all around the world. So I think in Poland it's 22 years, in South Korea it's 26 years. It's a way of doing business which is built on sort of mutual respect, hard work, but also doing things properly.
So if I'm a consumer and I'm a nut for wine, okay, and my dream is to either buy a bottle of Ornellaia or get close to Ornellaia, or even another famous brand, how close can I get to the brand itself to can I come and visit the winery? Are there any events where you do tastings, tutored tastings, where I could maybe say, look, I can't afford maybe, say, £150 or $200 for a bottle, but I could probably spend £50 or $50 to go to an event where I can at least taste it?
Certainly. This is, I think, one of the things that we find important is that we have to remain very approachable and open and friendly. And we're with all people at the estate, and we love what we do. We like to share that passion.
You're not wearing a tie, for example?
No,
today.
well, we're in Italy,
okay.
So it's don't often wear ties nowadays, which is great. Sometimes I've got to look good, but no, I think that the openness is very important. You can visit the estate; it's by appointment, so we have a team of people that looks after everyone. But we also there again, we want to make sure that those who come to the estate get the experience that they're expecting. And in terms of tastings around the world, we try to participate in many different events with either James Suckling or Decanter, Wine Spectator, New York Experience, and get the wines actually into the lips onto the lips of people who want to taste it. Perhaps people might not have the means to buy a bottle of Ornellaia, but then it's a way of discovering a brand. It's a discovering the other wines that we have, or the second wine or the third wine, the white wines. And it's not just about Ornellaia, but everything starts at the top.
What's the difference between working in France in the drinks business and working in Italy in the drinks business?
Oh, gosh.
You're not going to leave. The door's locked, by the way, so you can't get out until you answer the question.
Perhaps in France there's a little more formality, a little bit more also theatre around the wines, a bit of fanfare. Snobbery, I'm not sure if it's snobbery. I think it's an attitude, it's a behaviour.
Over-reverence?
Perhaps, in certain cases. But at the same time, they've shown in the world how to sell wines at the great value. The Italians have got certain things to learn in respect to sort of bringing the value to the wines and the great wines that they have, but also they have to bring their own style. And this openness, this pleasure, this joy of life, it's very present when you go to Italy. You go out to dinner and you enjoy it. You have fantastic food, which you might not have in France at the same price, that's for sure. But you have fantastic food, and it's not...
it's less formal.
It's less formal, and it's more fun, and you spend more time with each other rather than sort of analysing the what's in the plate. I mean, it's always good.
So how difficult is it for a brand like Ornellaia, which has got the fun side, the Italian background, and then there is that sort of formality of a blue-chip brand? How do you get that balance right? You don't want to be over-familiar with a real sort of buffed and toughed kind of buttoned-up consumer, but then again, you don't want to be flippant.
Exactly. I think you have to listen to your customers. That's one thing. I think you also have to be true to yourself. Don't be who you're not. I think people at a certain price range also expect you to act in a certain way. So there are certain rules. You know, if you go around to your grandfather's house, you wouldn't put your feet on the table for dinner. It's the same thing in the wine world. You have to adapt yourself to the market you're in, whether it be in China, whether it be in America, whether it be in England, even in Belgium, for example. Belgium is very different to France. But you have to adapt, and you have to listen. You have to be, I would say, you have to sort of pay attention, I think. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that you're doing it right and you are projecting the right image for your wine, and you're following up really what everything has been done in the vineyard.
So what is the future for sort of, as a generic term, luxury brands, when everybody's talking about millennials? I know natural wine with lower alcohol, that kind of thing, and value, and these, auction wines, if you like. We're not interested in them. We're never going to buy them. We can never find them. We can't afford them. They're totally irrelevant to us. And it's the millennials sort of creating, in some people's view, the buzz about wine at the moment.
I think that the world is so diverse and is going to get more diverse as the years go by. The wealth in the world is also going to continue to grow. So there are going to be more consumers at both ends, whether they're super rich or just everyday. I think that there's going to be these wines, in the same ways that natural wines appeal to certain people, our wines will appeal to others. There's a lot talked about millennials, because I think people have a very difficult time understanding what it is they're really, really interested in. But I think you have to look at it the other way around, and so you have to make yourself interested because of who you are, and what you do. If you haven't got the quality, that's one thing. If you look like fake news, that's another thing. I think you can only be true to yourself, and if you're consistent, if you are being yourself, and also you have a great wine, then I think you have a good chance of succeeding.
Some of the white wines from the Tuscan coast are outstanding. Will there ever be a white Ornellaia?
There is.
Okay. Tell me about it.
So this is something that part of our, I would say, brand ethos or our DNA is that we've always looked to challenge, even from the beginning. Being born as a super Tuscan puts us on a different path than to most wines in Italy. We also have kept this flexibility in the way we work, and we don't want to get stuck down, because we can do things, and there's so much we can do. Bulgaria is only 30 years old as an appellation. Not everything has been tried yet. If you compare to what's been done in Bordeaux for the last 150, 200 years, they've got a wealth of experience that we're only just scratching the surface. So immediately the red wines turned out to be fantastic, and so everyone just planted red. But over the last years, with the arrivals, especially of Axel Heinz, our winemaker in 2005 at the estate from Bordeaux, even though white varietals, especially Sauvignon Blanc, had always been planted on the estate since '82, it had never been a focus wine. And in 2002, they grabbed up the vines and changed everything to Merlot, but not everything worked. So some of the vines had half of it was where the graft had not worked, half of it was still Sauvignon Blanc, and half of it was Merlot. And those would be green harvested or chucked away at the end of the year. But when Axel arrived, he said, "No, those look interesting. I'll try that." Made a wine, served it at the harvest lunch that year. 3 weeks, so not Beaujolais Nouveau, but Bulgari Nouveau Blanc, Bianco. And that first fresh white wine was enough to convince everybody that we should move ahead and look at the white wine again. So he started planting, searching for new sites, looking at things.
So there was already some Sauvignon. Which other varieties?
At the beginning it was mainly Sauvignon, but then he started also planting some Vermentino, which is quite normal for the area, some Viognier, which works very well down in our area. Not Semillon, as some people would expect. They see a Bordeaux red blend, they say, "Oh, well, there'd be a Bordeaux white, so Semillon, Sauvignon Blanc." But no, Viognier is much better, like in southern Rhone. We're on the Mediterranean, after all. And so we've also been playing with some Verdicchio, which is from the Marche region on the other side of Italy, and a little touch of Petit Mansin, which was left by the previous winemaker, Thomas Duroux, who's now at Chateau Palmer. And he left that as a welcome present for Axel. It's beautiful sweet white wine that we make now, a late harvest. But now we have, after 7 years of trial and error with the white wine, which we call Poggio Allegazzi dell'Ornellaia.
Just repeat that one.
Poggio Allegazzi dell'Ornellaia. So that
What does Allegazzi mean? What does it mean?
It'd be Magpie Slope. It was an Australian wine from Ornellaia.
Magpie Slope.
But now in 2013 we came out with the first vintage of Ornellaia Bianco. So Ornellaia, the level of Ornellaia, but its expression in white. And then this has really set us off on a new path to look at whites seriously, to really sort of start growing more vineyards, either regrafting or planting, looking for new sites. Sites where, for example, in the past reds didn't work because they had too much cover from the forest, or they were the wrong side of a hill or whatever. We're finding that if we plant those into white, the magic of Bulgari creates some great, great wines.
Just final question. What is a typical blend for Ornellaia now? I mean, has it changed over the years?
There has been a slight change, very, very slight over time. The original Ornellaia blend was 65% Cabernet Sauvignon, so it's always and still is driven by Cabernet Sauvignon, with 25% Merlot, and the rest was Cabernet Franc. In 2004, the denomination added Petit Verdot, so we are now, I would say, about 55-60% Cabernet Sauvignon, big dollop of Merlot, and then a touch of Petit Verdot and Cabernet Franc. And that's, I think that will remain. But the Merlot component has grown over the years as we understand that it's a fantastic region, even for Merlot.
Great. Okay. Tim Banks, Sales and Marketing Director for Ornellaia. Thanks very much for coming in today and telling us about this iconic brand and developments there with the white wine. That certainly sounds very interesting.
It's very exciting. It's a great place to work.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you. And you.
Follow Italian Wine Podcast on Facebook and Instagram.